Hello and welcome back to the EMJ GOLD podcast, brought to you by EMJ, your #1 open access destination for HCPs and pharma globally. Now, it's been a few months since we were last on the airwaves. Just in case you've forgotten, or if this is your first time tuning in, I'm your host Isabel O'Brien, and I'm joined by my co-host Jade Williams.
Hi everyone, this might also be a lot of your first times actually seeing us as well, for anyone that might be watching on our YouTube channel.
Yes, very exciting. We are officially on YouTube and we are officially now the EMJ GOLD podcast. So we've changed things up a bit since season 6. We've got a new home over on EMJ, as well as a lovely new look and feel. So I would say we've got a new energy about us this season, Jade, wouldn't you say?
I would absolutely agree with that, but aside from working on our new brand identity as well, what else have you been up to these past few months?
Well, it's been a busy start to the year. We've been publishing more content than ever, which is really exciting. We're working on some really interesting partnerships that I'm looking forward to sharing. So yeah, it's been a busy but exciting time.
Busy indeed. I'm actually just back from Barcelona. Visited there in Reuters back in May. It was a really great time, actually, really wonderful experience.
We weren't just there, Jade. It was a little while ago. Well, yeah, it's funny you bring up Reuters because that is where the episode we're going to share today is from.
Yes, absolutely. While I was out there, I had the pleasure of speaking with Mercedes Diz. She's the Chief Marketing Officer at Almirall. She's got over 20 years of experience in the industry, following a degree in Biochem and Molecular Biology in Madrid. She's worked across a whole host of different pharma companies from J&J to Pfizer, and she's also a very keen member of our friends, the HBA.
Oh, we love the HBA.
We do. I managed to speak to her ahead of her panel at Reuters about global strategies and local realities, but I spoke to her about her progression in the industry as well as Almirall's progression too. They transitioned from respiratory health to dermatology. We also spoke about how the industry can work across more than just the surface level for patients with dermatological conditions.
Well, it sounds great. Shall we listen in and kick off the episode?
Well, Mercedes, lovely to meet you. Thank you so much for joining me here at Reuters. How are you doing today?
We are doing very well. We are very excited about the meeting, and thank you for having me here.
No worries. Honestly, amazing that I was able to cross paths with you here at Reuters. I think it's always such an amazing event, and really excited for your panel discussion later on today. What's that going to be about?
It's going to be an interesting panel with not clear answers about how to bring everybody with you when you are planning globally and locally how to execute the strategy, which is a recurrent topic in the pharma industry.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's always been a bit of an issue, but hopefully something we can get to the bottom of. But for today, anyway, thank you for joining me on the podcast. I was looking through your LinkedIn profile, and I know you've got a bit more of a scientific background, and then you've transitioned your way into the marketing field. So I wanted to know, what was your inspiration behind that move?
Well, thank you for the question. I always had this passion since I was a little child for science as a progress of society. That's why I decided to enter into biochemistry and molecular biology at the university. And I enjoyed a lot, every minute, and I still feel myself as a scientist at heart. It happened that when I was at the university in the 3rd year, I think, one of my colleagues that eventually became a very close friend got a diagnosis of systemic lupus.
Oh, right.
And this was this, brilliant young woman, 20 years, one of the best brains in our class. And I started to see her battle against the disease, totally debilitating, pain, super tired, ulcers, so many things, losing hair. Yeah, she was coping with it with, a lot of courage. Definitely. Yeah, she was an example. But I can tell you that at 20, you are not ready to see your colleagues, and your friends suffering that way. So that probably triggered in me a sensation of, the lab is maybe not enough for me. I want to be forefront, fighting to have more medications for people that suffer. And I was a bit, hesitant because I tended to be more kind of an introvert person at that time, and I'm going to be able to, but I decided, we should not put limits to our dreams, and to help people. And since then, I have tried not to put limits. That's why I entered the pharmaceutical industry. Amazing. And moved into commercial and marketing roles.
Amazing. That's a really honourable mention, I think, there. I think lupus is really, as you say, a debilitating disease. So it's great that, your friend was able to go through that, and it sort of inspired you to help make that change for the better for more people. So I know you've been at Almirall for a good while now. How many years is it?
Since 2002, so it's 21 years.
Long time,
yeah.
And I know the company's gone under quite a bit of a transformation while you've been there. Could you tell us a bit more about that and when they really got into the dermatology field?
Mm-hmm. There was, a very conscious decision by the company for a company of our size that has always been driven by science. We wanted to really, compete and focus on a space where we could have a meaningful impact. And dermatology ticked many of the boxes here. We were coming from an heritage of, science, understanding inflammation, and that gave us a very solid ground to move into medical dermatology. We are now fully focused on medical dermatology. We are very proud of this heritage of science, partnership with customers and patients, this size that allows us to really be close to the customers. We have a very long-term vision that also helps to move into medical dermatology. We think in generations, actually. We don't think in quarters. Yeah. And being part of this transformation has been amazing. Yeah, we are already seeing the impact of what we are doing. We have a portfolio of products in chronic debilitating diseases that is really paving the way for the company and for patients. So yeah, we are very proud and it has been really an honor to be part of it.
It's definitely been great to see, and I think it's a real testament to the ambition behind Almirall that they've taken that transition and really moved forward with it. So I wanted to ask you how the company in general ensures that that ambition really passes down through to its leaders, through to all of the staff on the floor.
Well, I think this is a spot-on question. Really? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, everything is about people, isn't it? It's about patients, it's about customers, but it's also about our own employees. We truly believe, and I think we walk the talk, that our best asset is our people. Yeah. We have now a combination of people that has been in the company for many years, like me, even decades. We have many people that have been decades in the company. And new generations, new people coming from big pharma that really, it's a diverse workforce. So in this context, it's super relevant that we keep everybody aligned with this ambition, with the values, and that we foster the skills that will make us successful and deliver on the task. To do so, we have, created an employee advisory board that is helping us in this cultural transformation that never ends, that needs to, go along our movement into medical dermatology. That is about unleashing these employees' potential, giving them the tools, the empowerment and the accountability. It's about customer and patient centricity. And it's about driving outcomes. So all these three things are, very well orchestrated in the company through many different initiatives, and I think we are being pretty successful on deploying them.
Yeah, it's definitely great to see. I think patient centricity has been a huge focus of today's talks that I've attended so far, so it's really amazing to see that things like those employee advisory boards are really knuckling down to that and making sure that the ambition that is passed through to the staff is also passed through to patients at the end of the day as well. Which brings me on to wonderfully into my next question, which is all about dermatology. It's all about skin conditions, but there's a real unseen mental burden behind these that I'm sure you're aware with your friend that had lupus. How do you think the pharmaceutical industry can really ensure that patients are being seen not only for their medical conditions on the surface, but what lies beneath?
Again, a very good question, and something that is very close to our vision as a company. As you said, skin diseases might be perceived as diseases that don't compromise, life of people, but they are so visible that they stigmatize, greatly stigmatize. Think about an acne patient in their teens, what they have to suffer at school. They might be bullied, and that has a cycle of, not going out, no socializing. Same for chronic skin diseases, inflammatory diseases like psoriasis and atopic dermatitis. Huge impact on your access to work, your way of finding a partner, having a social life, etc. And this is fully documented. But even if it's fully documented, not always understood by payers, some physicians in some cases, the families, the environment. Yeah, so I think it's very important to make it visible and to continue investing in generating data here. Yeah, because if you don't bring data in this world, nothing happens.
Exactly.
In that regard, I want to mention one initiative we feel particularly proud of. It's called the Positive Study.
Okay.
And this is a study that enrolled like close to 800 patients with psoriasis in Europe. And for the first time, it's using one endpoint, one primary endpoint that is well-being driven. And measured by the One World Health Organization scale called the WHO-5, that measures well-being of people. The entire concept behind is that, health is not just about relieving symptoms from a disease. No, it's not relieving disease. It's really a full package of physical, social, and mental well-being. Yeah. So with this scale, we are able to measure how psoriasis patients are suffering and how they can come back to their normal well-being and generate powerful data, very promising so far, that would allow us to visibilize and also convince payers that these patients deserve early treatment and be taken care.
That's amazing. It's really great to see that you guys are putting that initiative forwards. As you say, data is everything, and it's a shame that sometimes value can come behind things that you don't necessarily have that data for, so creating it is amazing. Do you have any suggestions for how other companies could start their own initiatives like Positive?
Well, I think it's again the same thing. Let's use the same scales to measure things so we generate more evidence, we can integrate the evidence. Let's talk about it, Let's drop lines on what's acceptable, no? And that we all talk about these things the right way. Yeah,
definitely. Open up conversations. So I know that you're a member of the Healthcare Businesswomen's Association, a very proud member from what I can see. So I wanted to ask you about what you think about diversity in the industry and how you would suggest companies and the industry altogether can put forward more diverse opportunities for women.
Well, this is an area that, again, is very close to my heart. I'm now a member of the executive committee of Almirall. Took me like 20 years. I would like that the next woman will take 10 years.
Right.
Yeah. I'm proud of this company. I'm very close to, I know the thinking of my CEO, the board, and we have many initiatives to fight against inequalities at the workplace, not just women. There are many other things. So what we should do, well, is many angles. We need to visibilize the biases. Biases are all over. It's not in the pharma industry. It's everywhere. It's not just men. It's women as well, having many biases. And we need to make them conscious. And I will strengthen the importance of role models. You mentioned HBA. A few weeks ago, Mary Stud, which is the CEO of HBA, was here in Barcelona. What an amazing role model, in so many ways. And she challenged us a lot and said, the ball is running. Take the next shot. We need to take the shot. We need to move. We need to take the ball and run for ourselves and others. So it's both organizational, but it's also personal. We need to make it personal. Helping others. So that's what I think we can do, all of us.
I think mentorship is a huge value add for anyone. Did you have a mentor growing up or a role model that you can speak about?
Yes, I had one of my early in the career managers, she was a very unconventional woman, I would say. And she didn't put limits to herself, and she was always challenging all of us, all the women, like, why you always ask permission?
That's good.
What do you want to do? Why don't you ask? Why you wait to ask for a salary increase? She was always like pressing, us, making us the right questions. And she was very successful, but she was very inspirational as well on helping others. I will never forget that.
Amazing. It's funny how people like that stick with
Yeah.
you, but they're such important drivers for change in every industry. Amazing. That's brought me to the end of my questions. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you in your panel in a bit.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you for having me. You're doing an amazing job with this series. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Isabel, what did you think?
I thought it was a brilliant opening to the season. It was wonderful to hear from Mercedes. How was it for you?
Yeah, it was good. You know, for my first ever in-person podcast recording, I was a bit nervous for it, but I think it went really well, and especially because Mercedes is just wonderful to talk to. Thankfully, it went smoothly, and I really loved hearing her speak about how the industry is really people-centric at the end of the day. Whether it be around patients or staff, everything comes back to your people.
Absolutely. I think my favourite bit had to be when she was talking around going for opportunities, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. That is something I very much believe in and encourage everyone around me to do, and also not putting limits on your dreams. I think big, think blue sky, and you never know what might happen.
Yes, blue sky thinking indeed.
But that does bring us to the end of today's episode, and a nice note to end on, I think. I really hope you've enjoyed listening or watching along if you're with us on YouTube, and I'm really looking forward to bringing you more insights from the industry this season over the next few weeks and beyond.
Absolutely, me too. Can we give any hints for what to expect in the next episode as well?
We can. We're going to be talking about a topic that is a personal favourite of mine, and spoiler alert, it's women's health, so look out for that.
One to watch out for indeed. But yeah, that's it for us. See you next time.
Bye.